Hello again, writers. I wanted to make a video that explains what are the expectations and the outcomes for mastery when it comes to your written reflections. All of our learning should be guided by outcomes, targets for what we're trying to achieve and master as we develop skills to be effective writers. Much like we have outcomes for our narratives, we have outcomes for our peer responses that we've talked about in our last cycle. We also have outcomes for our reflections. So here they are. I'm going to unpack them for you briefly, and you can jot some notes down on your HyperDoc in the appropriate space so you can build your rubric and have your expectations on hand for what makes for mastery when it comes to reflective writing. Well, in the world of meaning, the statement is I can reflect on my writing with specific, honest, and thoughtful comments. Just like being vague in a peer response is frustrating, it is just as useless to be vague and general when it comes to your own reflection. You want to be specific and you want to be thoughtful. You're going to have to really think about your work, which is maybe something you're not used to doing as we bustle through this tech life. But you really have to look at it soberly and carefully to consider what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, what are your areas going forward. Development. I can connect my reflection to outcomes and point to specific moments or instances in my writing as I reflect. We want all of our writing to be guided by outcome. So when we shared the rubric with you in our last few cycles about what makes for mastery narratives, point yourself back to that. Where did you hit that and where? Where have you come short of that and where? By connecting yourself back to outcomes, you remind yourself what the expectations are of the assignment all along. Organization is simple. I can arrange my reflection for maximum impact by following the GROW protocol. Follow the GROW protocol as we've discussed, GROW, in that order, and you'll organize your reflection in an effective way that'll help both you and anyone reading what you wrote. Style. I can relax the formality of my writing to be candid, critical, and vulnerable. In other words, I am writing this for me. Your reflection can have slang. Your reflection can be a lot looser. You're not writing the reflection for teacher. You're writing the reflection for self. So write in a way that you understand, write in a way that works for you and speaks to you. And finally, conventions. I can make sure my ideas are clear and easy to follow so that I can understand what I mean as I retrace my steps during revision. If you go back and read your reflection and you don't even know what you talked about because it was so choppy and so poorly put together and so awkwardly phrased, then it doesn't help anyone. You want the reflection to help you grow. So yes, relax the formality, but don't lose the clarity. These are our expectations for reflecting critically on your narrative. This is how we will measure your reflections, starting with this one and going forward through argument and style analysis. These are the things to keep in mind as you see your assessments come in when it comes to reflection. These are the targets for mastery. I look forward to watching you hit these targets and master the skill of reflective writing.